unconscious bias is really about preference. And a lot of people are afraid to have the discussion about unconscious bias because when you talk about bias, people automatically are like, I'm not a racist, I'm not a sexist, I'm not a homophobe, I'm not a xenophobe. So unconscious bias is snap judgments. It is something that we all have, and it really just affects our judgment in different ways. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be scared of, right? And it's nothing to run away from, because the way that you get past it is to become aware of it. And it's not usually from a place of bad intent. So this is a picture of me, and it says, I'm not the court reporter, but I type a lot. So, anyone, the reference to the song, you all know what song? Right. So the reason I put this up here, this has happened to me on more than one occasion, but the other day I went to a deposition, and the deposition was on a case that we've had multiple depositions. Same attorneys go every time. I'm one of them. I go. We get to the building, and I walk in, and one of the attorneys is like looking at me. I'm like, okay, hey. And then he says to me, are you the court reporter? I was like, no, I'm the same attorney that's been at all these depositions with you all these weeks. I'm not the court reporter. So we go upstairs, and he realizes that he's made this faux pas. And he starts telling this other attorney about what's happening. So I come into the room, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say you were the court reporter. I was like, just leave it alone. Just let it go. Let it go. He just kept going. But you know what? I let it go. Just let it go. And it's funny, I wrote a LinkedIn post about it. That LinkedIn post got more views than anything I've posted on LinkedIn, and really conversations from women who were saying that in their industries, they have the same thing. And I was talking to a court reporter about this the other day, and she goes, well, what's wrong with being a court reporter? And I had to say to her, it's not about being a court reporter. It's the fact that you have seen me and clearly did not acknowledge me as being your equal, or that the first thing that you thought of me was not that I could be an attorney. I was not on the same level as you. I've walked into court and have announced myself, hi, Your Honor, Kelly Charles Collins on behalf of whatever party, and been asked, so where are the attorneys? Right? I'm in a suit, I'm in court, right? Are those things prejudice, or is it just a bias, right? Is it just that they're used to men being attorneys? Certainly not black women being attorneys, right? It could be either way. But these are the types of things that happen and that you have to deal with every day. And we can't just go around thinking everybody's racist, right? And so you have to accept sometimes that these things happen. You acknowledge them. You let somebody know so that they know not to do it again. But I'm not the court reporter. Another example, what's in a name? So I tell people this all the time. My son's name is Jordan Alexander. That's his middle name. I won't give you his whole name. But when he was born in 1991, and everyone thinks he was named after Michael Jordan. He's named after New Kids on the Block. I'm just telling you. Just letting you know. We like certain people. We don't like other people. And so if some things are happening to certain people that we don't like, we're like, sounds good to me. Right? Not saying anything about that. But if it's happening to somebody that we like, then we will intervene because we have an affinity for that person. So unconscious bias does not mean you're an ist or an ob. But it can, right? If you take that judgment and now negatively impact people, then you will become an ist or an ob, or it will go to the level of discrimination. These numbers that you see, these are actual settlements or lawsuits that have been paid out based on discrimination. So if you allow your biases to cross the line into discrimination, these are the types of numbers that you're looking at, from $5,000 to $10 million. And Allison told you this morning about the $15 million. And believe me, juries are not afraid to give this up. They will give away money because it's not theirs. Right? And when your company pays out a lawsuit, in order for your company to continue making money, they have to make more money. Because if I pay out $15 million and I make $15 million, I've just broken even. I have to make more money. I have to make $15.01 in order to be back in profit, right? So these things cost a lot of money. And not only do they cost money, there's soft costs that go with it. So turnover, disgruntled employees, people not coming to work, people calling in sick, people not wanting to be there, people complaining, y'all having to do all these investigations I was talking about, right? And not being able to do all the rest of the things that you need to do. So don't think about it as just being money when it comes to discrimination and your bias moving over into discrimination. There are other things that affect people. You have people who go into depression, people who are committing suicide, people who are coming in and committing homicides in your business, right? We have a lot of workplace violence, and a lot of it comes from the way that people are treated in the workplace. And so you have to be very, very mindful of that. Change happens when we acknowledge our biases, when we actively want to change the behavior, right? So we know that we have it, we want to change it, and that we're concerned about the implications, right? It's one thing to know that you have a bias. It's another thing to want to change it and to be concerned about how it affects other people or affects you and what you're doing, right? So this is where change happens. So what I want you to leave here with today is, one, we all have biases. You're not alone. It is something that can be unlearned. However, if it's misused, it can cost your company a lot of money.
I think that she had a lot of different ideas about, social cues, definitely biases, how to combat that, and make you feel comfortable enough to actually have a strategy going forward for your company.
Just that in particular, to be more aware of what I say or how I make decisions. And hopefully, after reading the book, I'll be able to share a lot of that with my colleagues as well.